Hi friends, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. So glad you're here. My channel is Turquoise Dreaming, and if you've been watching my channel, I've been working on this dolls journal, and super excited to show you the flip through. I think it's done. You never know when I might have some kind of brainstorm and or idea and just want to go back and add a little something before it goes out the door. But anyway, here it is as it is. I have a little goodie pack here, and I just remind you that with my journals right now, I'm sending these little booklets that I made out of these very vintage greeting cards. I have sent a few out, but I have this many left. So with each journal, it's not just any purchase; it's a journal purchase that these will come with. I think these are pretty special. I've never found cards like this before at a thrift store except for one time, and this is it. So there's no printables in here, and there's lots of fun things in here. It's very, very eclectic. So this is the book that I made, the journal out of Better Homes and Gardens dolls. It was a craft book for making dolls, and it's from the 80s, I think it was. And the copyright is inside, but it's 8 inches wide and 11 1/4 inches tall. And this journal can go any which way you want it to go. It can be journaling, scrapbooky, glue booky, painting, art, whatever you want it to be is what it can be. So I just have it tied closed with this pretty bow, or actually it's kind of like a satin ribbon that matches the fabric. And I believe I also got this in Happy Mail and birthday mail from my good friend Maria of Maria's Miscellany. She sent me a few over the years of these pretty ribbons. I don't know where she gets them, but they are, look at that color. It's so beautiful. I thought it went so well with the colors of this. It just went so well. Look at this little girl has a bow in her hair. Just kind of almost the same color. But it goes so well with all the colors and including the spine fabric. So I don't know if I can slip this off or if I need to untie it. I have such a nice bow tied. I hate to untie it. I can tie it back, but let me see if I can get it. There we go. Okay, just slipped it right off there. Awesome. So as you can see, here is the cover. And here is the back. The back also had these cute dolls. We made the spine together where it's a flexible spine made out of like the Carla Frizzell style with the file folder and 3 signatures. And I haven't tried to form it into any kind of shape, but you can push it together and get it to shape into a more smaller circle if you want. It's just whatever you want to do. I didn't do that. I just left it as it kind of wanted to do on its own. I didn't try to change it too much. But this is removable, the tassel. Let me show you the tassel real quick. It's on a binder clip. I have a few of these, and I don't know where I got them. I don't know if they weren't, I don't believe they were new. I don't think they're like super old or anything, but I do think I got them at a thrift store. And then here's the tassel. So if you saw my Thrifty Thursday last week, if you didn't, you should go back and watch it, because I got this bag of buttons that I had no idea what was in there. I mean, I knew it was buttons, but I had no idea the cool buttons that were in there. But anyway, I did use some of those buttons and beads that I showed you in my last week's Thrifty Thursday on this tassel. I just couldn't wait to use some of them. But here, I've got... these tassels are a little hard to show in a video because they want to hang like this, and I've got to lean it up where you can see it. But these bigger buttons like this are something I already had, and they're old vintage buttons, and some of them could be antique. I really don't know. Someone sent them to me, and I know they're old, but I don't know the year. But anyway, very cool old buttons on there. And then these are some of the beads. These bigger ones like this are from what I showed you last Thursday, and then I had some of them. And here's one of the little spools of thread that I showed you that I said I was going to use in my tassels. This is the first one, and on the end of the thread, so it wouldn't come unraveled right away. Anyway, you might have to put some more on there. I might even have to put some more on there. I think it's okay the way it is right now, but if it starts coming unraveled, I just put a little art. I took the end of the threads and made sure like there's a little bit wrapped around here, you know, the start of it, and I just put a little bit of art glitter glue on the end, like just like that, you know, a little swap of swipe of art glitter glue just on the thread so that it wouldn't come unraveled. And then we've got strawberry button on here, and since this is a doll journal, it has all these cute little dolls. I have a couple little girls on here. There's some more of those pretty, the bigger ones are the ones from the last Thursday, and the other wood beads I already had. This button was in that bag of buttons. Be happy. This is a little heart button. So cute, right? Yep. I'm not going to hoard any of those things. I'm just going to use them. Here's one of the ceramic bows. And this is also, well, I'm going to say it's, yeah, I said it was probably ceramic and handmade. That's what it looks like. And it's a button. It had these 2 holes in it. And it looked very just handmade. And if you get this journal, you'll see what I mean. It looks very handmade. There's a couple little, these buttons were also in there. This little flower and this little flower. I had the little bear buttons, and then a little block charm that I had made, another little doll, and a little sunflower here. So it's a very, you know, you got a little jingle there if you want. So I'm going to put this to the side, but a very long, you know, I made it long enough to kind of match the length of the journal. And so let's get started with a flip through. And, oh, let me show you the top view. I've got lots of things clipped in. These are my decorated paper clips. There's one with a little tassel on it there. And here's a side view. You can see a few, there's a couple of the trims peeking out there. There's one there too. So, and of course you can add more trims if you want to. But as we get started, I put some of the pages from the book that I picked out that I thought were so cute here on the inside of the covers. If you didn't see that video, here in the back cover, these are actual pages from the book. Aren't those the cutest dolls ever? And here's that fabric too. I just wrapped it around the spine on the inside too. And then so as we start, there's, like I said, it's 3 signatures. This was the title page. Here's the copyright again. I have to remind myself, 1984. And so I put a couple of those little dolls charms that were, I'm going to call them doll charms or girl charms, that I put on the tassel. I got some of those, and I didn't realize some of them came with loops as like a charm, and some of them didn't come with a loop. I guess you're supposed to glue them down. So I put one here, since this is all about, you know, not all about dolls, but it's a doll book. And I put one here because I think these little girls look like little dolls, these little charms. And then this is a clear plastic pocket. You can put whatever you want in here, but I did put one of my decorated index cards here, which makes a nice journaling card. And of course, you can put this wherever. Any of the items, you know, the ephemera, you can take out and put wherever you want, and put whatever you want in. Of course, it's going to be somebody's journal that can do whatever they want, but I put that in there. I thought it was a pretty card to put in the front there. I like the color. And so here's our first pocket on the other side of this page, and that's the pocket there. We did that on video too. And here, I did bring these home recently from a few weeks ago from the thrift store. I thought they were so cute. It says anything is possible, and it's a little postcard. Aren't those adorable? I thought those were so cute. So that's in there. And then that recipe book that I'm cutting apart and making journaling cards. They're journaling spots out of the recipe card, you know, recipes. There's 2 of them in here. So they actually have different little patterns here. The border is different on each one. So anyway, a couple of oatmeal cookie recipes there. And then here on the next page, I'm going to try to show you all the ephemera in here. This is just a scrap from this journal, and it's so pretty. I want to just put it right in here. And then this is a flip out. So this is the first Franken page that we also did in a video during the time that I was working on making this this journal. So let me just go ahead and put this back here. I'm going to kind of put it over the page here and clip it right back on there. And then as we flip that over, Franken page, And then this is ledger here, and I've got a little tag here that's on a little, it's interactive. It's a little brad, little flower brad, so you can move that around. And then on the back of it, to cover up the back of the brad, I put this little label here on the other side. This is a little pocket that I was trying to put it down, but I don't know, I made it so that I didn't want to glue it down anywhere. It's cute on this side, see? It's pretty scrapbook paper and these dragonflies, little flowers. It's stitched together. But on the back I have I guess it's a recipe card and another decoration. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to glue that down. That's too cute. So it's kind of a floating pocket that you could do what you want with on this paper here. This is some shelf liner. And then some atlas here. And there's a little game piece here I put on as a tab right here. Vintage. This is a big envelope that I put in here. It was a big white envelope that I had, and I decorated it with some of the paper, what did I call this? Paper ribbon. Paper ribbon. And then, so it's a big pocket, and there's some more paper ribbon on this side. I put it on both sides as a decoration. And then you can further, do what you will with that, because it's like a page too. It's wide open for whatever you want to put on there. And I have I put quite a few things in here. So I kind of ran out of space. I didn't want to make it too much more chunky than it got already and heavy. But this is a card I made out of, I have a cool bird book. And I took, I think I made two or three or four in here. You'll see them in here. I don't remember how many, but I made a big journaling spot. Or you can make this into, use this as a pocket or whatever you want. But I stitched some, if you know what masking paper is, I have it in this green color, and I have it some tan, which I don't know where it is right now. But I used the green on here, and I stitched around my favorite stitch, number 17, on the Brother Sewing Machine. So those are some pretty bluebirds there. And that was in here. I thought that was fun. I want to make some more of those. I just made a couple for this journal. I haven't made any extras yet, but I thought that was really pretty, so I put that, I just put them in here. Whatever I made is in here. A little journaling card that was a cut apart, and this is one of my large index cards that I was decorating the other day, and then another little piece of ephemera. All can be writing spots if you want, or decorations, pockets, whatever. There's our first ruffle here, made out of vintage sheet. And there's a few pages from the book in here, so that's one of the dolls. This is wallpaper. I just turned up the end there on that, so you can use it as a little tuck spot if you want. Ledger paper that has some writing on it. Beautiful yellow, vintage. Here's a little vintage price tag here that probably from a grocery store or something, you know what I mean? And then I got those at a thrift store. And most things I get at thrift stores or like the scrapbook paper is new. So if I ever get anything from eBay or anything like that, I'll tell you. But I usually don't order anything from eBay or anywhere else, not even Etsy, except for my yo-yos I got on Etsy one time. And some KB and Friends digital kit ones. But yeah, most everything comes from thrift stores. I really like that. And so here's one of my Franken pages I put right in the middle. I thought this one was so pretty. And then as we go to the back half of this first signature, see, here's the original receipts that were on this ledger. I left them on here, but there's some old kind of almost rusted or partially rusted staples there that you can remove those if you want, or leave them in there. Do whatever you want. Glue them down. An envelope for your use, however you want. Nice big envelope. That's the wallpaper, the dolls, and the other side of that big envelope where I have some more goodies. There's lots of room in here to store things. Here's the other piece I made from that bird page. Isn't that pretty? And then some more little ephemera pieces right here. Yep, so those are all in there. And let's see, a little vintage playing card I just have this stapled on, so if you actually wanted to remove it, you could, but it also Probably could be a tuck spot, and that's a fold out there, or flip out. And then a piece of ephemera here, clipped on. I think you can see. I think you can see pretty good. This is, the book is so pretty large, so I'm trying to make sure it's that you can see as much as you can. And that's the Franken page. Here's our last page of this signature. It's one of the doll pages, and here's one of our pockets. We have a vintage bingo card, where this is actually not the original back of the bingo card. This is actually cardstock scrapbook paper. It has a little pattern on it, and it's sewn together and decorated. So that's in there. A little ephemera piece here, and this is a postcard. I have a little booklet of folk art. I think they're called folk art postcards, and this is one of them. Kind of a fairy tale-ish kind of postcard on this one. And, well, it talks about the picture there, but I'm not sure how old these are. I did find those in a thrift store, believe it or not. It's crazy. Crazy the stuff you find in a thrift store. Beautiful Franken page here. And this is our pocket that we put on here with from the bottom of the paper bag that I have in one of the signatures here, the popcorn bag. It is sewn on. You can see the sewing, stitching on the other side here. And I added one of the little flowers that I showed you that I was making, and using up my little half back or sticky back beads, flat beads, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I just added one of the flowers right there. I thought that was so pretty with the paper bag. You just don't even, you almost don't even recognize what it is, but it's actually the bottom of the paper bag. One of my grocery store receipts, the ones that had a lot of writing on them, like if they had writing, say, up to here, I decorated down here. But if they had writing all over it like this, I kind of left it so that whoever gets them can read them. And then if you want to decorate it, you can. But I just think it's interesting to try to read these and see what people bought and what the prices were. So I'm not decorating the ones that have writing all over them myself. I'll leave that for whoever gets those. A couple fun pieces of ephemera. Most of these little pieces were cut aparts in some of my scrapbook papers, and so I've been trying to use them in my journals because there's so many when you get scrapbook paper and you get the cut aparts, Here's a little label up here, or yeah, you can see that right up here. This was kind of a dark spot of this cabinet that these dolls are in. There's a pretty quilt here, but yeah, I thought that was a fun spot for a label. This is my I guess you can call this homemade washi tape with my fabric scraps. We put that there together and decorated that. That's the index page from an atlas. Here's the first part of this popcorn bag here. And in here I have a leaf made from some book pages. There are 2 or 3 book pages put together, and I drew the leaf and I cut it out and I sewed around it. And this is an envelope made into a journaling card. It's coffee dyed, and I have some scrapbook paper on there. That can be cut open if you want to slit open the sides, any of the sides, and use as a pocket. And a little picture that I made into a little piece of ephemera here. This picture is probably from, I'm trying to remember, it's not printed. It's, I think it's from probably Reader's Digest, I'm going to guess. Most of my little pictures are from Reader's Digest or the celebrity, like a vintage celebrity book of old celebrities that have that. Those are all black and white pictures though. And here's another envelope for you. On some of that shelf paper, a vintage playing card there as a little tab. The Franken paper in here. Ledger and another, this is a game piece from Monopoly, Community Chest. And then wallpaper here with the cherries, and this is a pocket that we made out of the top of a brown, like a manila or brown envelope. And this is a cluster I put on here. There's some clock hands on here that can move. So there's a little clock piece there. And then a book page tag with some fabric and different pieces on it. That's piano roll paper on the back there. And then an old bookmark from the Red Cross. you can glue that down somewhere if you want as a tuck spot or a decoration, but it's loose for you to do what you want. One of my fabric tags, you can decorate it, again, use it as a pocket or whatever. Write on it, whatever you want to do. And this is another one of the envelope journaling spots. And then just some random fun paper that I found at a thrift store. It says newsletter up there. I guess it's for newsletters. And then this is the page from the doll book with the patterns. Different things. That one too. That's the middle of that signature. So this one's in the middle. And then back half of this signature. This is a journaling card just made out of, oh, this is a cut apart. I love these sunflowers. And then you have a little quote over here. But I just love the sunflowers. That's why I put the sunflowers up, because I just love them. Here's our second little ruffle here. And then ledger, the Franken paper, and this one is a fold out. So you have some very large, I can't even get it all in the frame, pages here. But on here I put a strip of tickets that I made. I made the tickets themselves out of scrapbook paper. I cut them into ticket shape, and then I decorated them. And there's little pieces on here of scrapbook paper and things I punched. And then there's also little, I think they're little quotes or definitions or something on there. They're so little I can't read them right now, but yeah, that was just a fun piece I had in my stash, and I thought it looked good with the colors there. And then another cut apart here on shelf paper, the other side of the paper bag, and here I've got a notepad with some scrappy papers, just fun scrappy papers, and that was just hanging over the side there. Well, I had it hanging, I had one piece hanging out like that. And then this is wrapping paper, vintage wrapping paper, made into that tag with it's got file folder on the back, and this is one of my serial number tags. These are made out of scrappy bits too, scrap papers. And then this is a card on this index page here from the atlas, a cute card. I think we put this in together in one of my, we were putting some pieces in here and we put this in together, but just a fun card that you can use, or you can use it in here. You could glue it down, write in it, whatever you want, but it's just a pretty card. And then on this side is where we put our belly band, my little scrappy, fun kind of belly band that I made on video this past week or so. If you didn't see it, you can go back and see where I made that. I made kind of a masterboard of scraps and then cut it into these strips like this, and sewed around all the little pieces and made this, I really think it's a pretty gorgeous, I love it, belly band. And behind there, I had this envelope. It's a security envelope, you know, just a junk mail envelope, but I turned it inside out, so I think it's fun, you know, with the security. And it's kind of different. I don't know if I've ever seen this again, so that's probably why I kept this one, because I think it's kind of a different security print than a lot of them that I see. So I have that in there for whoever. And then I put some extra papers in here too that you can do what you want with and craft with. But this one is like supposed to be computer stationery that you put through your printer and print your letter on or whatever. And I have spritzed it with green food coloring on the back. I had this in my stash already. And the green comes through a little bit on this side too. So it's really, first of all, it feels kind of like, you know, when you coffee dye paper and things, you get that feeling of the paper turns into a feeling different. And then you get the pretty colors, and then a piece of my coffee dye paper, if you would like to use that in here somewhere and make some writing spots or whatever. You can make whatever you want, right? Whatever you dream up. And then doll page. I love this face here. And a little scrappy drawing card right here. Let me move it down just a tiny bit. There you go. It's right here, scrappy. It's got, yeah, it's totally made of scraps front and back. And then Franken page here. And we're on to the third and last signature. This one starts with a doll page too. This one starts with scrapbook paper. The first one starts with a doll page, and this one starts with a doll page. And this was a cute, super cute little rag doll here. I love it. A little tea set stuff behind her. It's so cute. So next one, a Franken page here. And then we have a flower card. This is actually a card clipped on this atlas page, index atlas, atlas index. So it's a blank little sunflower card that you can glue it down somewhere, make a writing spot. I love to see like envelopes just on a page or a card, and then you open up and you can write in it or do whatever you want. And then I put a pocket, some type of pocket in each signature if you didn't notice. And this pocket, this one is made out of wrapping paper. So it's based with, what is it based with? White cardstock. I forgot what I made it out of. I took white cardstock and covered both sides with vintage wrapping paper. So I think it's really beautiful. And here's this side. And you'll see the other half in the back half of that signature. But it's a nice big pocket again. I did stitch up the sides too. Those are stitched up. And there was some extra on the ends of the wrapping paper, and I just folded it over and kind of, it lines the pocket a little bit. There's a couple of scraps in there. I forget. I don't know. I just was kind of like lining it a little bit. And then this is one of my, what I'm calling my homemade postalettes. So I just made them out of some pretty scrapbook cardstock paper that I had because I used it all up on these because they were this size, and I thought that was so cool but they can be envelopes too. See how you can open up and write on them, or you could glue down the sides and make them into envelopes, whatever you want to do. But that is in there. And then I've got one of my bingo cards. These are actually, well, I can put 2 in there. I don't know if I meant to put 2 in there, but you get an extra one whether I did or not. And these are made from bingo cards where we actually played bingo on a cruise, and I brought the bingo cards home and made them into journaling cards. This is scrapbook paper I put on the back. The used bingo cards, see the dots? I didn't get bingo, as you can see. But anyway, it's a pretty turquoisey colored little dot pen there, dot marker. And then I added these little tickets in case you didn't see that video. Those are just some fun tags or journaling cards. And then this is one of my little fabric sample pieces of ephemera that I made. And you could use this as a, flip up too, if you wanted to put it down, glue it down somewhere. Or you can even make a pocket behind it. And you can also, that paper I included, you can always add a writing spot here, just cut a piece of paper and glue it down, So whatever works for you, that's what you can do, whatever you want. Shelf paper. This is a pocket made out of a piece of a divider that I had extra, a little scrap of it. I just think those are so fun little, because you can see through them, and this is a yellow one, so that's fun. And then this is a tag. I have green paper on the back, and this, I don't remember what this paper is on the front, but it's pretty, whatever it is. I don't remember what that is. I really don't, but it's pretty flowery paper. This is Tarzan, in case you're wondering. He doesn't have very many clothes on. But it's a black and white picture that I made into this kind of looks like a Polaroid. And it's from my celebrity, they're older celebrities that, from, I don't know how many years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And the whole book is black and white pictures, and I'm slowly making them into journaling cards. I made a bunch, but there's so many in there that's going to take me forever to use up all the pictures. But anyway, that is a nice, fun journaling spot there. And in one of my book page, well, this one I'm calling a journaling card when they're this shape. When I make them into tag shapes, they're tags. I think there's a tag in here. And then this one is a journaling card with a cute little bird on it. It has green paper to write on the back. And this is a ledger page with some vintage tickets. And then we're almost through here. We're on the back half of this last signature. Okay, so on we go. Wallpaper. And here I have clipped on this music, vintage music. And I have it clipped a Curious George. It's a book page from a vintage Curious George book. And I have made it into an envelope. So that is right there. And then some more of my fabric washi. This is a typing page. And oh, we're not on the back half yet. That's why I'm not. I'm like, why aren't I recognizing this paper? Because we're not on the back half. Okay, Franken page here. There's a little flip over there, and you can see the beautiful center here. And then this is a flip out with the butterflies. So you've got lots of room there. And then now we're on the back half. Got the typing paper. And then this is our third ruffle here from Vintage Sheet. And then here I just have clipped some of my homemade little note papers. They're like old note papers that I had that I just added, you know, that I brought home. Or these two were sent to me in Happy Mail. And this one was from, you know, from a thrift store. And I added some stickers to them just to make them a little more fun to write on. All ready for journaling. And then here's that. This wallpaper is this color. It's so pretty. It looks like clouds or the sky or something. But yeah, it looks like somebody kind of painted it or something, but it's wallpaper. And then a cute little doll page. Looks like Raggedy Ann. Clown there. Fun clown. Very colorful. He's cute. He's not creepy. He's cute. I love his colors. And then ledger. And then this is a flip out here of this shelf paper. And these are some more tickets that I made. These tickets are made out of some type of cardstock. I'm not sure what. I made them a long time ago. And, you know, again, I cut the ticket shapes, then add all these little, kind of like almost like a snippet roll, but it's little pieces. Lots of little pieces are put on here. Little labels, butterfly, I see. Butterflies, and here's a little, just a little button card, like a picture of a, you know, piece of ephemera, little labels. These might be Tim Holtz. So yeah, there's a little punched out flower for my paper punches. Just some fun stuff on there, and I thought it looked cute there as a decoration. The back half of the wrapping paper pocket. And let's see what I put in here. There's the fold over where I kind of just folded over the end of that wrapping paper and let it line that pocket a little bit. Cut apart here, and then a couple pieces of vintage stationery. This one looks old. I really wonder how old this is, but it's very beautiful with a scalloped edge and everything. And then this one too is very pretty. So those are in there. They would make great writing spots somewhere on a page. And then the journaling card, and then just a couple more pages here, and I'll show you what's in the goodie pack so far. I don't know if I think of, as I think of things I add to it, you know what I mean? Like I start out like, what am I going to put in the goodie pack? This time I didn't really have any scraps left. I kind of put a couple in here, and I didn't have that many scraps left. I kind of used them all. So I was like, what am I going to put in the goodie pack? So I managed to gather a few things here. I've got, and I'm going to probably put them in a cellophane, you know, bag too, because this is a big journal and I can pack it with this whenever it goes. But I've got in here, let me see what I've got on the bottom here. Oh yeah, I've got some pages from a vintage children's, you know, the children's encyclopedias. I've got a few of those. I thought this was pretty. It's an end page, that blue. So those are pages from a children's encyclopedia. I thought somebody might enjoy those. And then I've got some napkins in here, which I like to put into my goodie packs, but I kind of forget. So I've got a few really pretty. These have birds and flowers. And just, you know, like this is an eclectic goodie pack too. As you know, it's an eclectic journal, and it's an eclectic goodie pack. So this is a lime. Looks like a lime, that napkin. And let's see. I did gather some scraps from my scrap box because I felt bad I didn't have any scraps left. So I gathered up some pretty scraps, and I'll show you that in a second. But try to see if this is one napkin. That's a napkin. And then here's another one. And here's another one. This one's nursery rhymes. So very cute, very eclectic. And then the scraps, let's see what I have here. Quite a few pretty ones. I mean, not quite a few, but a few. Some of them are double-sided. And so, yeah, I pulled out some pretty scraps for you. And, you know, I love my pretty scraps. It's almost hard to give them up because I use them, you know what I mean? I don't let them pile up, so, yeah, I don't have that many, but this is a fun little page from a planner or a calendar. It says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Has some writing room. It's coffee dyed too. It's been coffee dyed. I had a whole kind of booklet of those, and I just took out all the pages and coffee dyed them. And then I have, let's see, let's start with the bottom here. This is a fun recipe card. So a little recipe card. And then I have some note papers. I've been showing you some of these things in my Thrifty Thursday. So if you watch all my Thrifty Thursdays, you'll have seen most of these things before. Little note papers. A few of those. And then a couple of flashcards here. Vintage flashcards. Those are fun to decorate and make into things. And then this is a library catalog card. That's the hole right there. Fun to see what book it names. This is a little envelope that has a window in it. I just started pulling things out. A little card that you can decorate. Little kind of like business size, and I like the color there. This is a tea bag that you can do something with, but it's an actual never used tea bag. I bought these, you know, unused, so it's never been used. It's kind of, I like the color though. It looks like it's been coffee dyed, but it hasn't. That's the color it came. And then in here I have, I'm going to call it a cluster kit. So first of all, you get the coin envelope, and then in here I have things that you can decorate with. You can make tabs, you can make clusters, whatever you want. I just was trying to think of some different things to put. You know, I always put different things in the little coin envelope when I include it. So I've got little pieces of fabric, and there's a little piece of rickrack. Here's the rest of the fabric pieces. Quite a few little fabric pieces. You can make tabs or clusters. They're all different. Little pieces of fabric. And then here's a vintage, very pretty vintage piece of lace. So you can make several clusters with these things. And then I just pulled some buttons out of my vintage button. One of my several vintage button containers. Just put some buttons in there. I tried to get all different colors, and they're all definitely vintage. I got that particular container that I took these out of. I got I don't know how many years ago. I'm going to say at least 10 years ago at a thrift store. A jar of vintage buttons. So they're even older than they were when I got them. And is that everything? Don't forget one of these come with it. I'm not going to say which one, but oh, here's a little brad on my desk that kind of escaped from my brad container. I'm going to put that in there too. Yep, see, that's what happens. I just keep finding things and add them to my goodie pack or the journal. So I hope you enjoyed the making. I know it took maybe more videos than usual, but I was having fun with it, and I hope you all who did watch those videos enjoyed it. And if you didn't, you know, I was just having fun, really. So I hope you, you know, if you didn't watch them, maybe you go back and watch them and have some crafting fun with me. And this will be in my shop if it's not sold when this video is here. So thank you so much for watching the whole process and this flip through. And stay tuned for my next journal. I'm kind of excited about the next couple that I'm doing. But I really enjoyed, just one more thing I wanted to say, I forgot to say it. The last journals I made were the 4 little journals. I still have 3 of those in my shop, by the way, if you're interested. But after making 4 journals, even though they were little, they were still a lot of work. I was glad to focus on one. So, yeah, there's a big difference between making 4 and being able to focus on one and put everything into one. I really like focusing on one at a time. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great one.